Welcome to day 2 of the Women Who Rock Business Summit. What's working now online to attract endless clients. We're going to be getting started officially in 5 minutes. So congrats for already being here, claiming your seat at the table. We're so happy to have you joining us today. We've got some amazing interviews in store for you and training in store for you. Today is all about sacred sales. So go ahead and pop a note in the chat. Where are you tuning in from? If you joined us yesterday, what did you get out of being here yesterday? Love seeing you tune in. Welcome, welcome. Dallas, Texas, Canada. Port Newfoundland, Canada, Cape Cod. Oregon, Alberta, Washington, D.C., Tennessee, Kansas, Long Beach, Alberta, Pittsburgh, Spokane, London, Ontario, Canada. Love seeing all the Canadians in the house. I'm Canadian as well, now living in California. I see speaking of California, Los Angeles, California, in the house. Kamloops, British Columbia, or California, New York. Love it. Go ahead and keep popping in the chat. It's great to scroll the chat and see who is here that you haven't met that might be living right near you, building their business, growing alongside you. The Women Rocking Business community is global. Definitely seeing it here in the chat as the room fills up. We are loving all the videos that are coming in into the Facebook group. I was so enjoying getting to watch those yesterday afternoon and this morning. Really learning a little bit more about you and your niches. If you haven't done a video yet, you can certainly still post one today. So there is still time for you to get your video in, share who you serve, what your niche is, even if you're still figuring it out. Love to get to see your face, and what a beautiful space it is to get that kind of practice in the Facebook group. For those of you who are just joining us, welcome to the summit. This is the Women Who Rock Business Summit, and it is a Get It Done 5-day training. So while we have amazing speakers and interviews happening, we are also offering you training every day and opportunities for you to keep moving the needle on your business. You're so smart to show up here for yourself and for your future clients. We're thrilled you're here. We have over 10,000 women who have registered. So if you are just hopping into the room, keep posting in chat. Where are you tuning in from? If you joined us yesterday, what did you get out of yesterday? Love to see that in the chat as well. I see some questions in the chat about how long we're going for today. Today goes till about 1:15. So we are here for a full 2 hours with you. Started just 1 minute. If you haven't grabbed your favorite beverage or got your workbook up, you can go ahead and do that so you're ready to go. And I will be sharing that in a moment for you. If you haven't got your workbook yet, no worries. We'll outline that for you in just a moment. Right, here we are. It is officially the start of day 2 of the Women Who Rock Business Summit. What's working now online to attract endless clients? You are definitely in the right room. We are thrilled you're here. We have over 10,000 women registered and so many of you popping in to join us live. We're honored to have you here live with us today. And our community made you a brief welcome video. So let's go ahead and cue that video. Yes, you are here for the Women Who Rock Business Summit. We're so glad to see you. I love looking out into this virtual space, seeing all of your gorgeous faces, many faces that I recognize. I love it. Ah, you are in for a treat. We have an amazing lineup of speakers for you this week. We're going to be sharing a couple of these speakers with you each day. And Sage and the team have been prepping this summit for you for many months now. I know you're going to love Mary Morrissey's interview on the energy of holding your clients' dreams. And Allison Maslin is bringing her wisdom on scaling with authenticity. Annie Lala is going to be here, bringing in her deep understanding of conscious relationship to the selling conversation. That's going to be juicy. And Claire Zammit is going to be bringing her feminine power wisdom to the conversation about enrolling clients as well. And that is going to be live today. Claire Zammit's coming here live. So happy that you're here to be with us for that. And congrats again on all of the CTA One videos that are coming into the Facebook group. We love watching your videos, so keep them coming. We love to see what you are up to in your business. And I want to just assure you, if this is your first day tuning in and you weren't here for day 1, no worries, you are not behind at all. We have that replay available for you on the All Access page. So today, we are going to be covering sacred selling. This is your opportunity to discover a high ticket, how to have high ticket sales and high integrity enrollment blueprint to close the gap on those high ticket sales. So you might be selling, but you're not really getting people coming in at the value that you most want. We're going to help close that gap for you today. Yesterday was focused on speaking and impact and pinpointing one expensive problem that your people will really pay you for. So you can go ahead and catch that on the All Access page. Team can drop that link in the chat for you. And on day 3, tomorrow, we're going to be focusing on thought leadership, identifying your key speaker archetypes and the energy that naturally magnetizes endless clients. And on day 4, on Wednesday, we'll focus on getting you a proven framework to outline your client attracting talk for financial stability. And day 5 is freedom, self-care, and profit. So this is where you claim your next level of freedom and profit with some fundamental tools. We've got incredible speakers that are really helping you integrate everything from the week. So we've got a lot of juicy speakers and training in store for you. You're going to find all of that on the All Access page. So I know we've just had people drop that. Let's see, Steph just dropped that into the chat. The womenrockingbusiness.com/all access is your spot to go for everything that you're looking for, summit related. And where I want to guide you to right now is we have a workbook for you. And I would suggest that you go ahead and make a copy and take notes. So what you're going to do here is you have the, here's a direct link to the summit workbook. And I'm going to go ahead and screen share what happens when you click that link. So should be. No, hold on. Stop the share. There
We
we
got
go.
to see your little son there, a picture of your little son.
I
I
was gonna
love
say,
it.
uh-oh, we did the whole
Anybody see the
screen
little
share.
3-year-old naked in the garden? Pop a
Yeah,
yes
we
in the
got a
chat if you're a
little.
mom. Pop a yes in the chat if you have love for the mamas.
I
Oh my
got
God,
it.
I love it.
Nova in the Garden is my inspiration.
I love
I have
it.
a
It's
little
the best
inspiration
part right
board
there.
here.
That was it. The best part.
Now I'll share the workbook page, just making sure you're listening. Got to make sure you're paying attention here. So I think what happened, I need to stop the screen share, Izzy, here so that I can do, there we go. And now we're landing on it. So when you click that link for your workbook, it's going to say make a copy. And all you need to do is click the make a copy button, and it's going to open up a new copy of the workbook. And this is your copy that you get to directly type into. So there's nothing else you need to do here because this is now on your Google Drive, right? So this means that is not the one that other people are going to be typing into. This is your own copy. You can type directly into this. You can also print it out. So you can do file and then print from here, just print. And that's it. You don't need to do anything else. So that link to directly make the copy is the Summit Workbook. It's on the All Access page. It's in the chat for you now. And love all the mamas in the chat. And yeah, here's your prompt to put something cute on your desktop so that you see that in your background every day. All right, we are here. We're doing it, and you've got your workbook. Now it is my honor to bring Sage Levine to the stage. She is a dear friend. She is the founder of Women Rocking Business. She has been supporting tens of thousands of women for over 12 years now to grow their businesses and building a really philanthropic brand that gives back. She is definitely one of my son's favorite aunties. And I'm so honored to bring you up to the stage.
Oh, I want to just say thank you. Pop some hearts if you had a good day yesterday. And I just want to say to every single one of you, my team and I are kind of blown away. Like, what is happening in the Facebook group? How many of you were a little bit impressed with the quality of women and humans and change makers and light workers and practitioners? Can you imagine for a moment if we were to put all of our collective training like in one big pot and like unleash it to change the world? That's what's happening this week. And so today is one of my favorite days because we get to teach you and share with you a framework that's supported us to make, God, I can't even believe it when I say this number, but over $37 million, right? Having gone from being a school teacher from Iowa to generating this kind of money with a sales framework that just feels really true and authentic to me. And so, Megan, thank you. I'll be introducing Megan more officially in a moment. She's the chief of growth here at Women Rocking Business, and she's personally enrolled hundreds of clients into our high ticket programs. But she's also just got a heart of gold. So I think you can feel it. We'll bring her back up in a moment. I just want to say to every single one of you, congratulations for being here, willing to form an even new relationship with selling, right? Just go ahead and pop one word in the chat without thinking about it too much. What comes up for you when you think about selling your services? And you might have more than one thing come up. You might feel both excited and scared. You might feel intimidated and also really passionate and committed, right? And so I see many of you saying joy, expansive, opportunity, growth. It's my calling. I love it. It's my craft, resistance. Oh, I see you, D. Manuel. So good to see you. And then I also see many of you admitting that there's fear. I feel a little intimidated. I feel resistance. I feel nervous. I don't want to be out of integrity. And so I just want to invite us to take a collective breath into the knowingness that here we are on planet Earth, and we see people out in the world marketing and selling, probably in ways that we would never want to emulate Are you picking up what I'm laying down? We're living in a world that sometimes values money and power above the value of human life. And so pop some hearts on the screen if you're aware that there's an opportunity for even more healing and even more alignment that we get to know as a community today, that an even more aligned and open-hearted way of offering our services is available, that we do not have to emulate what's happening out there. And I just want to speak a word for every woman in freaking every corner of the globe that's been here for International Women's Month for the summit. We've got Cape Town in the house. We've got Europe, Australia, Canada, all over the United States, Central America. And some of you, a handful of women from the Middle East, and we spoke a word yesterday in the VIP room, just sending our love to Iran and sending our love to the Middle East. And if that means something to you, I just invite you to keep bringing that love to the screen and keep bringing that love to the women here, the moms, the single women, the women that have been on Shiro's journeys. You're here because you have a big dream. Thank you for choosing us. Thank you for being here. It's so exciting where we're going. And so I want to remind you guys that women leaders, we have the opportunity to do this different. And we'll pop up the slide because I wanted you guys to see this quote. We have the opportunity to really hold the vision of our clients' dreams as stronger than the energy of fear. Can you feel this? So important mindset shift for today. Feel free to screenshot. Our opportunity is to keep aligning with vision, to keep aligning with hope. The heart carries a frequency. Marcy talked about HeartMath Institute yesterday. What we've found is that the heart is thousands of times more powerful electromagnetically than the brain. And so I just want to speak a word for every single one of you as we're working with the selling framework today, as we're listening to the interviews that come on today. Pop a yes in the chat if you'd be willing to just keep feeling the energy of love toward your future clients in your heart. Your heart is magnetic. Your heart carries a frequency. It is going to bust through and move beyond anything that AI could ever do. AI is a great companion. We spoke about that yesterday, but AI is artificial intelligence. It's not artificial heart. It's not artificial spirit or soul. And that is what we're up to here. And so just a quick reminder, you guys, today we are landing on day 2. We'll pop up the slide because today is really about getting you a sacred sales blueprint. And if you can stay with us for the better half of the 2 hours today, you're going to get a full sales framework that you're going to be able to bring into, we'll just click through that, Izzy. You're going to be able to bring that into your conversations, your marketing, your videos. The framework that you get today may very well support you to bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars in your business, if not more. This is the framework that the majority, like when I talk to my clients who are having the most success, who have made it to 6 figures, to multiple 6 figures, and I say, like, what was the thing that you were able to learn that was most helpful? And they said it all started with your version of the GROW model. Like so many of my clients have told me this. And so I'm so excited to get this framework in your hands today. And let's pop back up that slide one more time, because many of you guys have joined VIP. I want to welcome our VIP and inner circlers. There's still time to join. Many of you have been asking, well, how does this speaking actually turn into high ticket clients? We did add the bonus training for you guys on Saturday. We had some confusion about that. There is no live stream this Friday. Friday's an integration day. The summit will be officially over. But for those of you that want to join that bonus training on how to actually turn your signature talk that we're going to be working on into clients, please do grab VIP. I think it's only like $47. We'll pop the link to join VIP into the chat. And we would love to have you on that bonus training on Saturday. And like Megan said, today we've got Claire Zammit coming on live to talk about the feminine energy and the power behind authentic sales, the women's way. And my dear friend Annie Lala is coming on to bring her deep wisdom around love. And both of these women are just some of my closest friends. I truly just love them so much. So I'm so excited to share them with you. I'd like to start out by speaking a little bit about why I see sales as sacred. As you move into your workbook today, I invite you to really consider pulling through the energy and any notes that you want to take around the opportunity to move into the world as a change maker and be the woman who brings a level of true dedication to the selling conversation. I think it starts with connection. I think it starts with actually believing that that moment when two people decide to work together is a sacred moment. Wouldn't you guys agree? It's actually not something to materialize. It's not a moment to underestimate, right? Pop a yes in the chat if you'd love to have even more of those moments. And pop one more yes in the chat if you can feel the value of getting a transmission of sales today alongside, gosh, over 500 women who are here live, thousands of more that are accessing the recordings. In fact, I'd love to just take a moment and click on gallery mode in the upper right-hand corner. And I would absolutely love to just take a moment as we're diving into the energetic transmission of selling and enrolling to invite you to turn your cameras on and just lean toward the camera if it feels right. And I invite you, if you see women in this room who have clearly acquired talents and gifts and awesomeness and light and healing to change lives, I just want to invite you to give a little nod. If you see multiple faces of women in this Zoom room who are kind of blowing you away with their badassery, I want to invite you to just send a sparkle through the screen. And I invite you to send one more sparkle through the screen if you're willing to have your own 1 degree shift, your own 1 degree shift that will set you on a new trajectory to be able to welcome as many clients as we possibly can get into your world. I'm going to invite you to unmute yourselves and let's give a wahoo and an for the women of the Women Who Rock Business Summit. Ow, 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 ow.
Ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, ladies.
Yeah.
Women being together. Thank you so much for bringing your voice into the room. I see you, Dr. Marina. I see you, Genevieve. I see you, Dr. Donna and Mary and Kimmy and Anna and Renee. Just thank you, Misty. I'm so excited to get y'all some stuff that can help you change the world and make some great money today. So here's where I think we should start. There's an idea out there that we have to convince or manipulate in order to bring our clients in the door. And it's just not true. And so right here, right now in the Women Who Rock Business Summit, we're going to invite you into the mindset that selling is an act of service. That when you truly believe and when we can truly put enough value into our programs where we know we've put together something that we believe in, inviting someone into your work, it doesn't ever have to be pressure, ever. Your job is to actually show people the value of what is being offered and not convince. In fact, if you're taking notes, write this down. When you bring the conviction in your belief of the transformation that you stand for, you never actually have to convince anybody ever again. Is this helpful? Right? And so really, I invite you to see your work as a doorway to transformation. The next mindset I invite you into, and these are all in your workbook, is that when you stand for someone's vision, you are truly going to be setting an energetic container for someone to say yes to themselves. So sacred selling, it's not about convincing, it's about standing for a vision. And I invite us to breathe into this. Nobody is investing in you. They're investing in themselves through the transformation that you offer. So some of you might be thinking to yourself, gosh, I'm going to need a little bit more support putting together a program that I truly believe in, right? Pop the word yes in the chat if that's you. You know you may need to put a little bit more energy into really building out a structure, a program, a transformational, multi-week, multi-month journey, right? But once you do that, that structure is the offering. I want to really remind every single one of you, you are not selling air. you are selling a transformation that you've been cultivating inside of yourself for a lifetime. And even if it's not formed yet, pop some hearts on the screen if you can feel that there's the opportunity for you to rest in the structure of what you're bringing, that this doesn't have to be personal, right? If you're taking notes, I'll say this one more time. I saw a couple of you ask. People are not investing in you. They're investing in themselves through your program. And I hope that can feel like somewhat of a relief. And I'd like to talk about integrity. We'll pop back up the slide, because integrity is about you enrolling the right clients. You do not need to enroll everybody. You get to enroll the people that are meant for you. In fact, sacred selling means having the courage to tell people this might not be the right fit, right? This is a good thing that you're not looking to enroll everyone, right? And so we approach the opportunity to offer our services from a place of devotion to our mission, right? When we are devoted to our mission and we're making that devotion bigger than some fear around the paycheck. Now, that's not to say that the fear of making the money isn't real, right? I want to normalize that for a moment. But I invite you to feel that energy of getting even more and more and more devoted to your mission. Now, the last piece I'll say before I bring Megan Neely back up is there is a sacred agreement between two people when you go to offer your services to somebody and they start to feel that yes inside themselves. Can you guys feel it? It's not any more or less sacred than when we choose a new girlfriend or choose a new friend or meet someone who we're going to become romantically involved in. Like, it's a very sacred thing to choose a mentor. Pop a yes in the chat if you've had your life transformed by a mentor and you take it seriously, that you are now energetically becoming the next version of yourself as the mentor that you're here to be. And in fact, I believe the most high integrity, the most effective sort of saleswomen on the planet are very present. We even listen more than we talk. And we're really looking for that place where two people can choose each other and can serve each other, right? There's something in here too that I always love to share with my clients, which is that we actually need clients. Can you guys feel it? We need clients. But guess what? When we get clear on what we're here to offer, our clients need us. And so I just want to speak into the delicacy of this, right? That we can actually open ourselves up to being the women who are ready to receive as many clients as we're able to serve. And then there's an opportunity to work with any resistance that might come up to actually having clients. I'm sure none of you have resistance to having a full schedule full of clients, right? So we can talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes. But I want to speak to this opportunity to move into a healthy interdependence with your clients, right? If we want to be in business, we need clients, but our clients need us, and that's okay. And when we can make peace, right, we move out of this lie, this myth that we all have to be so independent all the time. That my friend Reverend Deborah Johnson always says the only thing to really heal is a sense of separation. What if there was only one of us here? What if there was way more unity here available to us that would nourish us and allow us to be magnetic to serving people? I want to brag about Megan Neely for a moment. Megan started out as a client. She quickly grew a $250,000 a year business. Pop some hearts on the screen if you would love to be making $250,000 a year. Megan was off and running with her own business, but when she decided to start moving towards settling down and having her son, we'll actually pop up the next slide, she decided she wanted to partner with me here at Women Rocking Business. And we sort of were able to recruit each other, weren't we, Megan? Yes. Megan quickly became our top saleswoman. And then she actually, spearheaded helping to up-level our enrollment department. And now she's chief of growth. And she's been responsible for hundreds and hundreds of women coming into Women Rocking Business. And Megan, you've learned so much about what it is to be holding a container of the opportunity for a client to come in, see value, and say yes. And I know you've always really been a stand here at Women Rocking Business for never needing to be like over our ski tips convincing anybody.
Yes, that is so true. And I think, I mean, this whole theme of this summit, right? We're stepping into like women who are rocking business, women who are doing business in a feminine way. When it comes to sales, there can be this feeling like it's for others. There are a lot of rooms I've been in where I've been among the only women there, the only women there who are learning about sales and learning these skills. And often the things I was learning really didn't feel very good. It didn't feel very aligned in those spaces because it didn't really take into account that you're talking to people, that you're talking to real humans, and really making that connection. And so here at Women Rocking Business, one of the things I was really drawn to is that we're much more focused on opening up relationship, really connecting with the individual. And when it's aligned, when it's a right fit for someone to get to work with any one of you, you will feel it. And the person who you're talking to will feel it, right? We just have to create the conditions, create the environment for someone to see that, yes, this is aligned. This is the support I've actually been praying for. This is the support I've been searching for, scrolling for, and here it is landing in my lap. And now am I willing to say yes and open up to it? And when I found Sage, it was 10 years ago, come this March, or we are in March. It's 10 years ago.
Oh my gosh, this is our 10-year anniversary.
This is our 10-year anniversary, Sage.
Oh, it's our 10-year anniversary. I love you so much. And I love Nova so much. Megan and Erica both. So Megan and her wife, Erica, both work full time for Women Rocking Business. Well, pretty much full time, as full time as we can get them. And they were all just here having a slumber party with me for my 50th birthday. And Megan's son is just freaking adorable. Oh my gosh, we'll put maybe another picture of him in the Facebook group for you guys. I know we have a lot of moms in the room. But Megan, I think you bring that mama's heart. You bring that mama's heart to the transparency of selling. And it's been so sweet.
Yeah, thank you, Sage. And, really getting to do this work opened up the pathway for me to dream bigger dreams, to dream bigger visions, to open up to what did I really want my life to look like? Where did I really want to live? What did I want my day to day to feel like? Rather than settling. I was never someone who felt like I was going to be okay with settling. I remember being about 10 years old, and I was always telling my dad, like, I don't think I'd like that job. I don't think I could do that job. I don't think I'd do that job. He's like, I'm starting to get worried because you don't like any job anywhere. And I didn't know that there was a more entrepreneurial path at that time, right? But I had a bigger vision, and what I was seeing around me was just like, that can't be it, right? And I bet that there are some women here in the room that can relate. And when I got into this kind of an event in this space where Sage was speaking and she had other guest speakers, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. And so when I stepped in and I decided to join the Business Academy and get more mentorship and more support to grow my business, and I felt like I got to bring all of who I was forward and include all of myself in the work that I was doing and get paid for that. Like, how amazing is that? And having the structures to be able to tell stories, to be able to share. I saw many of you posting your videos and saying like, this is my first time doing a video, or I'm trying to figure it out. That was me. That was me. I had never spoken on a stage before. I had never hosted a webinar. I had never done any kind of like talk in this format. And I had never formally like sold anyone into a program in this format, right? I had little things like come to my yoga workshop, come to my class, and, spend $25. Like that was the kind of extent of what I was coming in with. So to look at these frameworks and see there is a pathway to have 6 figures of consistent income was just mind blowing for me. And I decided to follow that pathway. And by using speaking to be able to reach my clients and then create programs to serve them that were really a match for exactly what they were looking for, and to stand in my confidence of stepping into sales with them, to learn those frameworks as well as I did here. That's how I created a business. It was 250,000. And then, like Sage said, we recruited each other. We're like, hey, how can we collaborate? How can we work more together? So it's been fabulous to get to work with our highest earning clients. I get to coach our clients who are already at six figures and soaring towards seven, and then, guest teach and support all of our other clients as well.
I want to say a couple things here, because some of you may be feeling like doing this business by yourself feels really overwhelming. And so if that's you, pop a thumbs up on the screen just so I know that you felt that way. Like the whole thing of solopreneur is not that exciting to me. I felt the same way. And as soon as I saw a model where as long as I could just learn how to enroll enough clients, I could hire some incredible women like Megan and Deborah. Now I get to work with some of my best friends. You'll meet Nicole at some point, but I just want to put a stake in the ground that one of the reasons to build a business and to get these clients coming in, these 5 days are all about really opening you up, getting the frameworks, but also the mindset to be able to embrace the clients that can come in. I want to invite you guys to truly sit in the vision of what it can look like when you have $10,000 coming in a month, $15,000 coming in a month. Megan got to the point where she was making $250,000 a year within 18 months. It happened quite quickly. And this is going to allow you to hire people to help you. Are you guys picking up what I'm laying down? And then you can actually attracting a few people into your business to work with, an amazing team. Like, it is one of the most humbling parts of the journey, but that has been the biggest joy for me. I love this part of the journey. So I just really want to invite you guys to keep that vision ahead of you, where clients actually equal freedom. They don't equal your entire schedule being full of clients. Okay. Clients can actually equal team and support and group programs, right? And I want to speak to those of you that are still in a little bit of niche soup. Pop the phrase niche soup in the chat. If you're in a little bit of niche soup, you feel just a little confused on who your clients are. You feel just a little bit like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm really not sure if I really should be starting this business. Okay, so can you see that maybe there's more than one or two of you here in niche soup? Can you guys see it? Right? You can see how unique this problem is. Okay, so let me speak to this for a minute, because Megan said something really important in here. It took Megan a little bit of time to figure out what she was doing. Megan, I'll never forget when you were texting me and you're like, it just took me 8 hours to make a 5-minute video. And I'm like, I know, the same was true for me. It took me all day to just get a little video that I felt good enough about. And I want to say to every single one of you guys that made videos yesterday, like, seriously, good job. Are you guys patting yourself on the back for that? And it's not too late. You can still do it. But that step, that action step you took, that step matters, right? Because every time you do it, it gets easier and easier. And I want to speak to those of you I want to speak to the niche soup, okay? First of all, here's the thing to know about soup. When you make soup, guess what? It tastes better the next day. Have you guys ever noticed that? And it tastes even better sometimes the day after. So would you be willing to give yourself a few days here while you're with us in this container to be exploring, like, who is this group of people that I want to serve? And when Megan was speaking to her journey, deciding on who her clients are, it took her some time. And I want to speak to the fact that many of you are not typical entrepreneurs. You are not peddling a product. I think my friend Dr. Claire Zammit said that to me. You're not peddling a product, Sage. Like, you're putting your soul out there and you're packaging this transformation for people. And even as young people, many of us knew that there were a lot of jobs out there that we didn't want to do. Right? I saw many of you relating with Megan on that, right? Like 10 years old. And yeah, I wouldn't want to do any of those jobs. That's because you're built for something really unique. Okay? If you resonate with this, and if you're over there feeling the truth that you are built for something really unique, you are bridging worlds, right? We oftentimes here at Women Rocking Business, we are bridging the spiritual and the strategy of truly building a very successful mentorship practice in a really specific way. Many of you are bridging mindfulness with parenting, right? Or metaphysics with dating, right? Pop a yes in the chat if you know you are bridging worlds in a way that very few people have done. Your work is out of the box. And so, would you be willing to give yourself a little bit of patience and space as this coalesces? Let the soup, right? Let the seasonings in the soup of your beautiful being and your beautiful epic soul. There's only one of you. And I promise there will be people that are going to want the transformation from you. And so, I want to talk about that journey of not needing to be ahead of yourself. If you haven't served any clients, you don't need to go out there and pretend that you have. Pop a yes in the chat if you've ever helped people. Pop a yes in the chat if you've ever just actually helped someone have a transformation, and you could talk about that story when you're offering your services. And so we'll pop up that next slide, because the next tenet of sacred sales is that transparency actually builds trust. Right? You don't have to be kind of over your ski tips, so to speak. You don't need to stretch the truth about how many clients you've helped. In fact, when you're aligned, you're clear about your offer, you're clear about what results are possible and what effort is required, that people are going to feel that. People are going to feel the integrity there, and they're going to lean in rather than lean out. And the last tenet of sacred selling that we want to kick this training off with is that money really is an exchange of energy. You know, when a client invests in themselves, they bring a commitment to that transformation. And these are all in your workbook. But I will just add that if you're taking notes, I love to say, you know, money is like glue. People put their money where they want to change. And so when we can really focus on the transformation, that's where we can really start to see the momentum. Anything to add, Megan?
Yeah, I just love this piece, right? Like the exchange of energy. And when you start to see a client is there to invest in their solution and there to really solve something that they've been struggling with, and you're providing that solution, then what I found is I could get out of the way more. So I stopped feeling like, oh gosh, I'm not ready to make the video, or I'm not ready to share that post on social media. And I started feeling like, well, maybe if I post this, it's going to serve one person today, and that could be good enough. And so for those of you who are posting in chat, like, oh, I haven't done the video yet, or I'm not ready. What if you were willing to get out of the way and make it more about the message than you showing up perfectly? Because ultimately, they care about themselves, not about you and how perfectly you're showing up. And that can be freeing.
You know, Megan, that actually leads into a quick response I wanted to give. Some of you were reaching out yesterday, really asking about how the journey of speaking and selling has shaped what we do and my specific journey. So, Megan, I'm actually going to pull up my notes here, because I wanted to respond to some of those questions that came in about what do we do when we've looked out in the world and we've seen people speak and sell in ways that just they haven't felt good in our bodies, right? Like, pop a yes in the chat if you've ever seen people do the selling marketing thing and like you just wouldn't ever want to do it that way. And then that resistance kind of live in our bodies, right? So my own journey of speaking and selling has been super up and down. I was so shy as a little kid, as you guys know. One of the opportunities that we have as we build these skills is it allows for bigger opportunities to come our way, right? And as I see the yeses pouring into the chat, I just want to remind you guys that every yes that you have this week to make your videos, to get your message out there, to learn these frameworks, it's going to lead to bigger opportunities to say bigger and bigger and bigger yeses. Something that happened for me about 6 years ago was I was approached to sponsor an event, and my business had just started to really take off and reach 7 figures. And it was one of those events. Have you guys ever been to one of those events where there's like a conference, and then there's all the booths, and then like the speakers will get on stage and invite you to their breakout. Have you guys ever been to events like that? It was like that. And I don't always love events like that, but I was like, this would be a good opportunity for me to just practice, to get out of my own way. We said yes, we decided yesterday that resistance points true north. So I had resistance to speaking at this event, but I knew that resistance was going to point true north for me. So I got really brave and I decided to speak and sponsor this event. Now, I was one of 2 women with about 18 men. And historically, this had been an event dominated by male speakers, and I was one of the token women. I'm sure none of you here have had that experience, right? Where you're just really outnumbered. And every time I would go into the green room, there would be all these men standing around bragging about their sales and their numbers. And I just had this feeling inside of me, like, what about the lives that we're impacting? Like, it's not just about the numbers. And I remember I was setting up my booth, and I hadn't really ever done a booth before. So have you guys saw my beach circle pictures yesterday? I put up this banner that had like a beach circle picture, and I brought my little my little sarong from Bali, and I had all this dark chocolate. So I'm setting up my booth, and these guys are coming in with semi trucks and flashing lights, and they're setting up scaffolding and screens, and their booths alone cost like tens of thousands of dollars. And as the minutes are going by, I'm thinking to myself, I shouldn't be here. I should never have said yes to this. I knew I was not cut out for this. And right, I'm sitting there kind of like shaking in my shoes. And this man comes walking over to me in the blue polo shirt, and he looks at my beach circle picture and he says, "What are you, a kumbaya business? You clearly don't know anything about speaking and selling." I remember I wanted the earth to open up so that I could fall down into it and cover myself with a carpet so that nobody would ever see me again. Like, this was a low moment in my career. I was completely dysregulated. I somehow found my way into the women's bathroom, and I did a form of what Lisa Nichols taught us to do yesterday. I looked in the mirror and I said, "Sage Levine, what you do matters. There's a reason why you're here. And I am not giving up on you. There is something bigger happening here." And I called a girlfriend. I called a woman who I met in an event like this, who we had the same mentor, because we got to actually, sometimes we can't get there by ourselves. And y'all, I got on that stage, and this was my chance to invite people to my breakout room. And that moment mattered because that dictated how much success I was going to have at that event. And I took a breath and I got on that stage and I told my story of being bullied as a kid and being so painfully excluded that I decided to stand for inclusion. And I decided to find a new women's way of doing business. And that I had built a 7-figure business in 18 months. And that I cared about women bringing their gifts to the world. And I had so many people come to my breakout room that we had standing room only. And Mr. Polo Shirt, he had a breakout room right next door to me, and his was half full. I found out a little bit later that we outperformed him in our sales by about 4x. We made almost $200,000 at that event. I couldn't believe it. And I remember that I ran into him in the hallway after the breakout room, and we looked into each other's eyes, and I just said, "Kumbaya. Kumbaya." And so if you want to have a business where you can bring all of your values, your love, your belief in something bigger, your belief in the metaphysical, your commitment to the energetic side of this, your alignment with integrity, we have the opportunity to bring healing and goodness back into a world that is so out of balance. And it starts here, it starts with us. And I know that when we dig in, we get deep and we get wide and we dig into what we know. Your clients are coming. I know it now like I've never known it before. And that's why it is such an honor to be here with this many women in this conversation. And I'm so excited. Kimberly says, Kumbaya is my new mantra. Zenova says, yeah, let's go. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so touched. I'm so honored. I'm so excited. Kendall Coleman's in the room. Welcome home. Welcome back. Heather, Sela, Lisa, Jade. It's so good to be here with every single one of you. So I'm about to bring up someone so near and dear to my heart. And then I'm going to be teaching you my favorite enrollment framework that has helped my clients make collectively millions and millions and millions of dollars. And y'all are absolutely inspiring me so much. Dr. Claire Zammit has an incredible framework she's going to be teaching you about the feminine path to authentic enrollment and offers. And there's really few women alive today that have actually done more to empower conscious women to actualize their potential and their destiny than this incredible sister and colleague and mentor of mine, Dr. Claire Zammit. Claire has groundbreaking doctoral research, 2 decades as a transformational teacher and leader. Over 40,000 women have been impacted in her feminine power courses, certification trainings. She specifically, especially works with coaches to help them really understand how to coach even more powerfully. She's a dedicated philanthropist. Claire and I have both had the honor of raising, hundreds of thousands of dollars for Girl Power Project. And Claire, it's so sweet to have you here.
Sage. Thank you so much. Amazing. And I just want to start by acknowledging you and just join me, everyone. Can we just post an acknowledgement for Sage? Because one of the things that I deeply admire and respect about Sage is the incredible community and culture that she's created here at Women Rocking Business that's incredibly rare in the online business world. It is not just a platform. It is a space for women can step into the next level of their identity and get the strategies to unlock their voice, their leadership, their purpose, their gifts in the world. And that is needed now more than ever. So it's an honor to be here right around International Women's Day with you, Sage.
Oh, you're going to make me cry. Claire, one of the things that I've always looked up to so much about you is your steadfastness in not following the status quo and knowing that we as women are on our own evolutionary journey in our leadership, in our businesses, as we go to offer our services to the world. So just give us quick background, like how did you come to be doing this? Claire's my unicorn friend from Australia, and she's got a heart of gold and a beautiful husband and has just created an incredible life for herself here between Tahoe and California. But yeah, Claire, how did you come? I'm sure a lot of women here are like, well, how do you come to have a PhD in feminine power?
Well, I was just following my biggest questions, and I was someone who didn't set out to work with women. I wanted to change the world with my gifts and figure out how to do that with my life. I think a lot of us have had powerful spiritual experiences where we felt like we're here for a higher purpose. Raise your hand if that's you, right? There's a way you've kind of had that. And I think a lot of us who become entrepreneurs and do this kind of work, it's because we're highly growth oriented people. We see greater potentials in other people around us. And I was always doing this from a young age. And my mother would say to me, you need to figure out how to get paid for having coffee with your friends because this is a thing that you truly excel at doing in life.
Totally.
And I found the field of coaching and I'm like, oh my God, this is like exactly what my mother was saying I should, is like my sweet spot for my life. And what I found just through the process of having gotten traditionally trained in coaching is that so much of traditional coaching doesn't identify or address women's unique barriers. And I began to see that in myself. I was this powerful, smart, successful woman, and all the coaching models I was taught didn't unlock or unleash my possibilities. So I just kept following that question. Why are women so powerful and powerless? And I discovered it has to do with a much larger story of women and power and transformation. There's a radically different way we need to be coaching women. And my whole life's work just came out of that insight. And when I began to shift into coaching women with what I call woman-centered coaching, that's really focused on identity transformation and growth and higher development to create these new outcomes at this new stage of self-actualization that millions of women are reaching, everything changed. And I went from coaching 6 women in a living room to thousands of women within a very short period of time, and built my online platform to support the growth of that work into the world.
Thank you. Thank you for caring so much about this women's journey. And I know that when we get a chance to explore this women's way, I mean, we're really forging it. Like, there's still so much of the old paradigm in sales and marketing and offering our services. And I think you've come to understand something really unique about how we can bring our work into the world and offer our services in a way, like the shifts that we need to make as women. I know there's a 7-shift framework, and I know that I tapped you on the shoulder to come on here today
Yes,
live
no, I will.
and share that with us.
I'm going to share that. But, first I want to name something that I think is just so important in this conversation about our women's discomfort around sales and how this is so often treated as a confidence issue, right? Raise your hand if you feel like this is like, oh my gosh, I just need to be more confident. I need to be more courageous, more assertive. And so that's part of it, yes, but I feel like that explanation is incomplete and misses something that's actually happening in our experience that has us feel so scared and held back and contracted. Because women's hesitation around selling is not an irrational fear. Okay, for generations, women have been socialized and rewarded for giving ourselves away, for being generous, for being other directed, and penalized for any behaviors that might seem like we're promoting ourselves or our self-interest or we're financially ambitious. And the research backs this up 100%, that consistently women who advocate for themselves and what they charge and what they do and speak about their work confidently are judged more harshly than men as being self-serving and, overly ambitious and unlikable. And it doesn't just come from men. Women judge women equally for these behaviors in a way that they don't. And this has been true from my first experience as I was building my confidence to be able to make invitations. I soon quickly learned if I wanted to have the greatest impact with my gifts, I needed to make the value of the opportunity of working with me visible and confident, and clearly make invitations to explore if it was a right fit to work together. And this hits up against so many of these cultural barriers. But the good news is, I think when you can become conscious around this, we can have a growth orientation to it. And we see we can expand our identity. We can expand our nervous system. We can step forward and lead ourselves. And actually, by doing so, we create a safer space for all women to come forward and talk about what we do and what we charge and who we serve and how that works. And that's truly how we evolve culture and change the world.
What I love about that is it helps normalize everything that we're actually feeling. The reality is that women don't get measured with the same measuring stick as men. And so we're the first generation. Yesterday, we talked about how we really are the first generation of women who have been able to set up our own bank accounts without a male cosigner. And all of these, karmic and historic realities live in us as we go to make our own money and create our own financial sovereignty. And Claire, I just love where you're pointing us. What can we do in terms of shifting our mindset around making our offers?
Well, I think the first thing is, recognizing that any struggle that you've had up until now around selling is not because you can't do it.
Yeah.
There's invisible things in the culture that have it not feel safe to be able to step forward, but you can learn how to do that, and learn how to do that in a way that's sourced from the feminine principle of relatedness, connection, and value creation. and do it in a way that's coming from a place of profound service. But that does require some growth on our own identity and some growth to be able to expand our capacity of what we're willing to be responsible to hold, right? Because how we can step forth and share about our work in a way that we can feel good about it, and we can feel clear, and we can feel congruent, and we can feel aligned, and we can feel not attached, so people are invited, not pressured or obligated, right? That's growth inside of us. And that's what I'd love to share in the 7 shifts, is like, really, what is that identity growth and that capacity growth that enables us to make invitations in a way that we are that deeper, wider center, being generative of our visibility and able to step forward and create value and impact.
I love this. I love this. I'd love to hear the 7 shifts. And I know there's a spot for y'all to take notes in your workbook as you guys are listening to Claire, I think on page 12. And I just really, knowing what I know about Claire's process, I think you guys are going to love this. And it's going to be so complementary to the framework that we're going to be teaching you as well today. So Claire, let's dive in.
Right. All right, let's dive in. All right, so the first shift, right? So this is really about being able to, another piece of context is, I feel like, how many people are coaches or therapists here? Like a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
We over
here's
half
the
when we
thing.
surveyed.
The
Yep.
middle of the coaching market is disappearing.
Yes.
Things not going anywhere. The growth is happening at the high end, right? Women really want to hire a coach to get bigger, more premium outcomes. Women come to coaching when they're going through a major life transition, when they're going through a divorce, when they're going through the end of a career, where they're going through the exploration of a whole new chapter, where they're wanting to transform their own identity. And so these are very big, premium, transformational moments in a woman's life. And so to be able to step forward as a coach, you can consciously make invitations to clients to work with you. You need to be holding a much bigger space and a much bigger container to be able to create value for the transformation and readiness that's there in women, right? And this is the thing. Women come to coaching, even though they might have challenges, they're not small problems. They're identity transitions. She's not looking for a tactic or a strategy. She's truly looking for someone who can hold her across a threshold into a new self and into a new life. And she needs that relational space where transformation can unfold. And enrollment into that process is completely different. Instead of trying to push and convince someone to buy something, a coach begins to recognize the readiness of a woman who's standing at one of these threshold moments and is able to name what she sees.
Beautiful.
Right? And so these are the shifts to be able to go in. So the first one is, well, firstly, does that make sense? Does that feel true?
Yeah, no, this
Your
is
experience
great.
of like who's coming to coaching and who the clients are? Okay.
I'm stoked because this is exactly what I wanted you to talk about.
Yeah. Okay, great. So this is it, the mindset into the identity and capacity of being a premium coach or transformer or having a premium offering. So the first thing is, it's a shift from seeing yourself as a helper to a holder of transformation, right? Most coaches think that their job is to make change happen for their clients, to push insights, to fix problems, and you feel a sense of responsibility for making transformation occur. And so the key shift here in this first one, the helper tries to force change to happen. The holder is a presence who creates a space for the change that's already happening to happen safely, right? Transformation is already happening. Your client doesn't have a safe space or a container to allow this transformation to occur, right? Transformation doesn't come from pressure. It comes from safety. It comes from steadiness. So instead of trying to move a client forward, you recognize the conditions where identity that's already in a process of changing can happen through a deep and wide container and presence, right? I am a holder. I'm here to make transformation safe. The second thing is, the second shift is from explaining what you work to standing in the awareness of the value that you create, right? There's a very different come from in your energy and where you're standing in that place. And this has to do with an expansion of our own trust in our authority. So the biggest mistake that coaches make around the explaining part is over explaining our value, trying to justify our prices, talking too much about why their work matters. And so instead of trying to prove or explain your value, you really are embodying it and you're standing in it, right? So instead of trying to persuade somebody to work with you, you are simply naming what you see and what you offer. You speak more simply, you speak with less justification, and so your words start to carry more weight because enrollment becomes a process where clients can feel alignment and certainty as opposed to any kind of persuasion, right? We don't need to persuade people to transform. We need to invite them into the opportunity to not have to navigate this by themselves, the process that's already going on inside them. So the third one is, this is one so important for women. We just want to bring everyone along. We don't want to limit who we serve. We value inclusion, all of these things, right? But here's the thing. You want to shift from serving everyone to seeing yourself as a coach or someone who's here to help those people who are ready. You can only serve people deeply who are ready for transformation, right? We're taught to be generous and be available to everyone. But when you try to serve everyone, your work becomes diluted. You are over-functioning, trying to help people who aren't ready to change and transform. And so you want to stop convincing people who are unsure or unready and instead shift your focus to identifying and screening for clients who are truly ready for their lives to change at the deepest level. And so, when you recognize that readiness, this is really where you're able to have a deeper conversation. Your conversations become easier. Your clients feel recognized and supported instead of pressured, right? And you feel that in sales, a lot of that pressure comes from trying to convince people it would be a really good idea to change versus those who are really kind of ready to change.
We were just talking about this before you came on. It's so true. This is the framework that we were laying, right? Because when we're clear on the transformation we stand for, we get to open up that space for people to lean in. Keep going. I love this. I know we have about 7 minutes.
And so this just builds upon, from convincing to recognizing, right? A lot of traditional sales, it's like, push, force, persuade. But when you recognize readiness, you're naming things. You're saying, wow, I can really see you're up to something big. I can really feel there is no going back to the old life and the new life has yet to emerge. I can really feel the readiness that you're standing at a threshold between worlds and ready to enter a new chapter of your life, right? You are really naming this and you're simply naming the threshold that they're already feeling. And what starts to happen is clients feel deeply seen. They recognize themselves in what you're saying, and you create that space and field of coherence for your clients to source the courage to step across that threshold that they are standing on the precipice of. And this is really where, enrollment becomes an act of sponsorship into the next level of identity and next chapter of your life. And so, you want to start to see also number 6, it's from being a supporter of change to your coaching structure or your offering structure is the structure from which transformation can stabilize, right? And so the key shift is, we don't need to motivate movement. We're stabilizing transformation. we're able to, in the way that we structure our service delivery, it's a container for that rite of passage to happen, as opposed to we're selling single sessions, right?
Totally.
What you're doing is you're inviting people into a structure where this transformation that's already happening in them can happen, stabilize, and become embodied in really powerful ways. And then, the final thing that brings together, it's to really shift from, it really is this final shift in actually seeing yourself as the fairy godmother,
I love
right?
that.
You are with your magic wand, and that enrollment is sponsorship into that next level self. You're not selling, you're initiating and authorizing your clients to become the next version of themselves and to make the investment they need to get the support for that transformation to become embodied. And when you do those things all together, and you make these shifts all together, you can feel how your own identity expands, your capacity expands, and enrollment stops feeling like sales, and it starts feeling like this act of high service and blessing and identity expansion and permission giving and authorizing for clients to step into and unlock and unleash their potentials. And the big thing that I've seen is that, women cannot become themselves without you holding that growth container and sponsoring them into their next level. And that's what enrollment can become at the highest level.
I love, love how you're setting this up, because many of you are asking for some examples, and the framework we're about to teach is going to give you guys some really tangible examples of this. But I just want to be sure, I know we have just a couple minutes left here. If you could stay on for a couple extra minutes, Claire, and just kind of go through each of the 7 steps so that we have them written down, because I think a few of us missed a couple of them. The first one is from helper to holder.
From helper
The
to
second one
holder.
is explaining to awareness. The third one is
from explaining to standing.
To standing. And
Right.
then the
From
third one
serving
is
everyone to choosing readiness.
the readiness. And the fourth one
is from offering sessions to designing a rite of passage.
Yes, I love that.
From convincing to recognizing.
Yes.
From supporting change to stabilizing transformation. And then from selling to initiating.
Claire, thank you for taking the time to open up that energetic awareness of what it within herself of space holder, of orienting our potential clients toward the transformation that's waiting for them, so that we never I know we need to also get the training so that we can get Annie on here. And Dr. Claire, what would you leave these women with? I'm going to make sure that you guys have a link to Claire's amazing gift so you can follow her and download this. She's got an incredible gift on how to raise your rates and charge more. Claire, what would you leave these incredible sisters with?
Well, I just want to say that, you want to see the pathway to being able to just see if I can take it deeper. Our dear friend, Barbara Marx Hubbard, I'm remembering your connection to Barbara Sage.
Dear friend of mine, yeah.
Yes. And I just remember her saying that, I think women are really a generation who are coming into entrepreneurship for a very different set of reasons than traditional entrepreneurs. We don't just want to make money. We want to self-actualize through our businesses. And so, to give our gifts to the world and our genius to the world requires us to learn a whole lot of stuff that doesn't feel natural, or we don't want to do it in the way it's been done up until now. But this is a call to leadership, and this is a call to find a new way to be able to do it. And no one else is coming to create a relational paradigm enrollment and business, and these are all skills that you can learn how to do. And I embrace learning them because I realize my impact as a change maker on planet Earth would be 100-fold, 1,000-fold if I could learn these skills of value creation and being able to hold a space to be able to make invitations, to be able to speak clearly and powerfully, and that this is part of the skill set of being a change maker on planet Earth at this time. And this is something that you can absolutely do. And I do want to say that this is a journey to be able to succeed. It's a path of growth where your identity expands, where your capacity expands, where your skills expand. And this is something that's very hard or difficult to learn how to do by yourself. And this is why being part of a community or being part of a program, what Sage offers is absolutely unparalleled for women who want to self-actualize through their businesses and do this in a way that is a relational way that actually creates more success in the woman-centered marketplace of today. It's actually a right fit. Sage has been such a pioneer in helping women bring their ideas, their gifts, and their genius to the world. And so if you feel like you're called to have a mission-driven business, I can't recommend or endorse Sage more fully as a teacher, as a leader, as someone whose community and program is going to be the launching pad for your great work into the world. So yeah, they're my final thoughts and final words.
Yeah. Well, I can feel how much your words have resonated with this community. This opportunity to deepen and widen into the space holders that we are and have become as women, and to normalize those invisible barriers that we've been up against. And Claire's I hope it's okay to say your book's going to come out in the next year, and so stay tuned for more of Claire Zammit, because Claire's amazing, and we'll get you a link to her Raise Your Rates offering. And Claire, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you, Sage. Love and appreciate you. Privileged to be with you all.
It's an honor. Such an honor to have you. You look amazing too, by the way.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Much love.
Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, y'all ready to get tangible, even more tangible? You ready to get the framework, the conversation, and take all of this incredible energetic awareness that we're having around sales and the mindset shifts and apply it to some steps that you can apply to an actual conversation? Claire, that was just perfect, perfect lead in to the next piece of training that I'm excited to get for every single one of you. And so I actually want to dive straight into a model that many of you may have learned years ago for our coaches and our practitioners in the room. Because what we've done here at Women Rocking Business is we've put a completely new spin on the GROW model. And I'll bring Megan back up to the stage. Y'all get to meet Nicole tomorrow. I'll bring Megan back up to the stage in a moment, but I want to just pop up the slide because what this is a framework for you to be able to establish a gap between where your potential client is and where they really want to be, exactly what Claire was speaking to. And I think when you see and feel this framework, you're going to be able to rest into the direction that Claire was pointing you even more, so you can allow your body of work to unfold, really launch group programs if that's something that you want to do, step out of that time for dollar like Claire was also talking about, and really build a trustworthy relationship that allows your potential client to understand they're investing in a transformation. And so what happens when you have an enrollment framework that you can rest into is that you get to relax and actually be present. One of the biggest mistakes that I've seen women make, and a lot of heart-centered men and humans as well, is that when we go to offer our services, there's a lot of selling templates out there. Raise your hand if you've ever been given a sales template that includes like more than 25 or 30 questions. My first mentor gave me a selling template that literally was pages long. And I remember looking at this list of like 73 questions and like thinking to myself, if I try to ask this potential client these 73 questions, I'm actually not even going to be energetically in the room. Are you guys with me? Right? Like, would you guys agree that sometimes the most powerful frameworks are the simplest? You know, and when we combine this template with the energy shifts that Claire's inviting us to make, I think this is going to be a framework that you can see can get you some real traction, because this is a framework that you can easily commit to memory today. Like by the end of in the next 20 minutes, you're going to know this. It's going to be, you know, it will be in you if you want it to be, because it's super easy to remember. And you'll be able to kind of bring the scaffolding into any conversation or even a video that you do to attract the energy and the attention of your potential clients. And you'll be able to actually channel and be present for the conversation and ask questions, right? Because all we need is scaffolding. We don't need a whole script, because again, the most powerful salespeople on the planet are really the most present, right? They're listening in the deepest kind of way. I really see the opportunity to have an enrollment conversation with a potential client as being kind of a spiritual experience. So many of you learned Grow, and we'll pop up the slide, by, you know, learning that one of the opportunities to get to know somebody and to help understand what somebody's gap is to understand their goals, their reality, to lay out some options, and then to wrap up a conversation. But we've put a real spin on Grow that is coming much more from a feminine perspective, where when you take the time to get to know your clients' goals and dreams, and then you also create the kind of container where your potential client can really open up and share more vulnerably around their reality and challenges, then you have a chance to kind of lay out the opportunity. This is what it would look like if you're interested in taking the next step. And when you wrap up, you actually get to see and really point your client toward what success would look like, and whether there's a win-win, right? A win-win specifically where you and your client both get to succeed, because you get to serve a client and they're going to get to experience a transformation. I'll say one more thing about the Grow model, and then Megan, I'm wondering if you'd be willing to share a little bit about the G from your perspective. But if you're taking notes, I think it's important to understand that regardless of how you go about doing this, and the Grow model, I think, is a great, again, scaffolding you can lean into. One of the opportunities that you have during any conversation with a potential client or any kind of marketing materials you put out there is to help your potential client get in touch with the gap between what they're struggling with and where they want to be. Because so many of us are having all kinds of conversations on our day-to-day, but so often we don't have somebody slow down and tune into us enough to really understand that gap. Can you guys feel it? Right? Because there's always a gap that exists between the thing that we're struggling with, the thing that we're challenged by, the pains of life, and then this opportunity that we want instead. And that's why when we can help you solve an expensive problem, and that's something we help our clients do on campus, and you know what it is that you stand for instead, you get to lovingly help point out that gap. Of course you're struggling. Of course it's difficult to create change and transformation in a marriage, in a parenting relationship, in a world where you're trying to do business and find your clients online. Of course these things aren't easy. Of course we need mentors, right? And so Megan, will you talk a little bit about the G? And I want to also name, before I pass it to Megan, that the Grow framework does not have to be linear. Okay, if you're taking notes, you can start in the G or you can start in the R, and we'll say more about that in a moment. But over to you, Megan.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't have to be linear. What's important is that you address both the G and the R. So with the G, it stands for goals, and it's really about taking it much deeper than just asking a client, so what's your goal? Right? This is about getting in there with them, having them understand, what do they really want? And then what do they want beneath that desire, the surface level desire? And what's their biggest dream? Maybe they haven't had someone in their life, in their world, that is actually able to hold these tender seedlings of their dream and their vision, and getting to speak with you, just like Claire was really speaking to, what a gift it can be to hold space for someone's biggest dreams and visions when they have people in their life that are just saying, like, why don't you just get a job? Why don't you just settle for X, Y, and Z, fill in the blank? Why aren't you happy enough? I was referencing that story earlier about my dad, like, bless him, right? But he wasn't saying, wow, if none of these jobs are really feeling fulfilling for you, I wonder what else is out there. Let's talk about it, right? That's what a coach is able to do. And I know many of you can relate. So that's why this question is so important. And we have the hint here of look for their indulgent why, because what this means is we want to take it deeper to understand. For our women that come to us that want to grow businesses, yes, they want to have impact and reach, and maybe they want to have a book or a TEDx talk or have a certain number of clients and a level of income. Like, all of that is important, but why is that important to them? What is going to happen in their lives as a result of growing those businesses? It's the same thing for your clients. If they're wanting a relationship, if they're wanting to change something in their health, something in their finances, they want it because of this deeper why. And these are the pieces that you're going to really need to uncover in that conversation. So this is on page 8, by the way, of your workbook. So if you're wanting to take notes in that goals section, this is a place that you can really take notes about this. Sage, do you want to say more?
I just want to actually share and just do a quick 30-second experiment, because a lot of us maybe haven't taken the time to tune into, what is that energetic and emotional impulse when we go to make an investment? And when we go to not just make an investment of our money, but also of our time. And so raise your hand if you can see that buying decisions are usually emotional decisions on some level, right? People are in touch with a deeper emotional impulse, something that they want and why they want it. I see you, Vashti. I see you, Annalie. And so let's just actually tune into, like, why did you guys want to spend 2 or 3 or 5 days in this summit? Many of you are investing 10 or 12 or 13 hours of your time to be here. And have you taken a moment to actually, like, tap into your why? I mean, I actually signed up for my first business training, confession, because I didn't want to ever work Fridays again. That was just one of the indulgent reasons why I wanted to learn business. And yeah, I wanted to help women, and yeah, I wanted to be able to give back. But I'm curious for you guys, like, to get in touch with that why. Can you guys feel it? Pop it in the chat if you have one. Like, what is it? Like, what is the why behind even wanting to build a business? I see many of you are actually following the nudge, the desire to be in a safe space. I want to be able to express myself. I want to be able to fly first class. Is that true for anybody else? I want to be able to hire a personal chef. I want to be able to send my kid to college. I don't want anybody else to be in control of my time ever. I want freedom. I want expression. I want flexibility for my family. Yeah, right. Can you guys feel it? I want body work every week. Yeah, I love that one. I love that, Bonnie. Yeah, don't want to go back to corporate. Yeah, love that, Varmel. So can you guys feel the energy in the room right now? Can you feel it? This is the opportunity that we also have during these conversations to create this kind of a space and an impulse for our clients to feel, right? Because if you're inviting your clients to make changes about the way they parent their children, or about the direction that they're taking in midlife, or choosing a more purposeful career path, or the choice to transform your own anxiety, raise your hand if you guys would agree with me. These are big changes. Raise your hand if you would agree with me that it's not easy to make change. And you are now basically stepping into that place that identity shift that we've been speaking about, where you are the holder of a safe space where people can feel safe to change. And change isn't easy. Every human being on the planet resists change. And so getting people in touch with their why, can you feel it? It's like helping them get in touch with the very life force that they're going to need to make the changes that you're going to be walking them through in your mentorship program. So it's almost like a vibrational match. This opportunity is almost going to help your potential client sort through whether they're really meant to be your client or not, right? Which I get really excited about. Now, at some point in the conversation, you're going to want to kind of go deep into this and ask questions so you can understand. So why do you want it? So tell me more about what it means to you to be able to send your kids to college. Tell me more about what it means to you to be able to have that freedom, right? Whatever that is. And then again, at some point in the conversation, you're going to want to loop back around to the reality, the R of grow. And for some of you guys, it's going to make more sense to start in the reality, because let's say that you help people transform anxiety. Well, it's not necessarily going to really serve you to hop into a conversation with somebody who's really struggling with anxiety and be like, so what do you want instead? Right? Because a lot of your people are not going to be ready for that part of the conversation yet. Are you guys picking up what I'm laying down? So some of you are going to want to start in the R. You're going to want to start in like, well, what brought you here today? What have you been struggling with? Talk to me. You start in the R. What are your challenges? What does it look like? And then you'll loop back around to the G. Okay. Does that make sense, you guys? Just pop a quick thumbs up on the screen if you're still with me there. Just want to make sure you guys are tracking. Yeah. Okay, good. So when you go into the R, you're also, again, you'll have the opportunity to slow down and help people really understand, gosh, what have I been challenged by? What has been stopping me? And what is the cost of that? Right? And to make that space for them to be safe, to share emotions, to get vulnerable. And it is about also bringing your own heart and your own compassion to that gap between what they really want and what's in the way, right? Where they'd really love to be, but where they currently are. And then once you've done that, once you've actually established that gap and you've been able to kind of go deep into those two sides of the conversation, then your opportunity is to actually act as if, right? Is there anybody in the room that still likes to try on clothes before you buy them, right? Or at least it's easier that we could buy clothes online and then return them, right? And so wouldn't it be nice to be able to try on what it's like to get support from a mentor before you hire them, right? And that's really kind of what we're also showing you what to do. You know, we will be opening up seats in our greater programs for you guys. Again, we're not selling anything this week that doesn't cost more than $100. You guys can come to our 3-day event and build out your premium offer. That's where we do that. And what I want to really point to is that your opportunity in integrity is to let your potential client know that if you were to work together, this is what it would look like, right? You're letting them try on the coat before they buy it. Will you walk us through a couple examples here, Megan? Or
Yeah, absolutely. So this number 3, the third step is options. And this is often where people jump ahead and think, well, now's the moment where I want to tell them about my program or my offering or getting to work with me. But actually, there's an important piece to do here first. So this is not the offer. This is where you share something like, based on what you've shared with me, here's what I'd like to recommend for you as a next step. Or based on what you've shared with me, here's where I see your opportunity for transformation is. So this is the spot that you let them try it on, like Sage was speaking to, right? So trying it on. And we've got a couple examples here. So on the next slide, options for closing the gap. Would you like me to lay out a mini plan for you right now? That's where you would, once you get the yes from someone, lay out that plan. So based on what you've shared with me, I could see that with A, B, and C, right? With these few things. So if I was speaking to someone who was ready to grow their business, I might say, based on what you've shared with me, I would see that with a plan to build out a marketable program, to create a funnel for attracting people into your sphere, into your world, and then building out a system that you're able to serve them on the other side, you could be experiencing, having 5K, 10K months on a really regular basis within a few months' time. How does that sound for you? Right. So you're getting to share an example with your offering, with your, with what you're selling, essentially, right? You're able to build out that bullet point course of action for them. So we have another example here for you. Based on what you've shared, if you were my client, I would recommend that you work to eliminate, so as a health coach, that you would work to eliminate most gluten and sugar from your diet and begin a daily self-care plan, practice with food awareness and tools. And there's an opportunity here for you to lose that extra 20 pounds that you talked about wanting to lose by the end of summer and still eat a lot of the foods that you love and experience a lot more energy. How would that feel? So you're always asking a question after you share this possible plan with them about how it would feel. And you're not giving them the plan. You're not saying, let me give you a meal plan for you to try for the next week and see how that goes. You're giving them kind of a general framework for how you could see working together before giving them the offer. Do you want to?
You know what, Megan, I just pulled this example for you guys this morning, so it didn't end up in your workbook. So if you want a screenshot of that, let's pop it back up just so you guys could have like a word for word example, if that's helpful for you. But we really wanted you to be able to see what it looks like to do what we call future pacing your potential clients. Because yesterday we talked about how money loves order. And when you can future pace your clients and really let them feel what it would be like to work with you in a really tangible way, it creates an immense amount of safety. And I think this is an example of what Dr. Claire Zammit was pointing you toward, where she was really pointing you toward creating the kind of space where people could see the transformation and feel it. And this is, I think, a great example of that. And so the next step is really wrapping up the conversation, because we've got to transition into the point where you're making your offer. And so how many of you have ever been in a conversation like this, or you've imagined being in a conversation like this, and transitioning to the offer can feel a little clunky? Raise your hand if that's true for you. Has anybody had that experience where transitioning to the offer is like the most clunky part? It's like, oh gosh, I've been doing all this connecting, I've been doing all this relating, and now I need to do that thing where I talk about my offer, right? And so for the first kind of 9 months of doing my own, offering and selling conversations, I clunked my way through that moment as well. And then I discovered this question, which I love to teach my clients. And many of my clients have told me this is one of their favorite little questions that they've ever learned when we teach enrollment. And we have coined this the $1 million question here on campus, because it really has collectively helped my clients make millions of dollars. So you guys want to know what it is? And do you agree with me that sometimes the simplest questions are the most powerful? Right? Because we don't want to go all salesy on people, right? We want to stay present with them. And so here's the question. It's very simple, but I think you'll see the brilliance in it. The question is, how are you hoping I could help you with that? How were you hoping I could help you with that? Very simple question, very conversational. Because the goal here right now, y'all, the goal is not to get all salesy on people. The goal is to stay present, right? So I'm curious, Jamie, I'm curious, Amanda, how are you hoping I could help you with that? Based on what we've talked about, how are you hoping I might be able to help you? And then you get to listen, and people will tell you, I need help managing my 2-year-old. I need help managing my anxiety. I need help growing my business. I need help building out my marketable program. And if that's you, maybe you should reach out to Megan. But When they tell you what they need help with, your job is to just be honest. It would be my honor to help you with that. It would be my honor, right? And if you can't help them, I had somebody come to me a few weeks ago and ask me if I could help them like launch like a pet store, like pet supplies. And I was like, well, I'd love to come because I have a dog, but no, I'm not the right girl to help you launch a pet supply store. If you want to get clients online, I'm your girl. So pop a yes in the chat if you're willing to be in integrity, and pop a yes in the chat if you can see just like the natural, organic quality of this question. And what I love about it is it really does give you permission to be in service. And then it gives you permission to allow your offer to be the answer to your potential client's question. Because one of the things we work a lot with our clients on is how to talk about their program and how to have these conversations that don't sound like a monologue, because as soon as you go into a monologue, it's so easy to lose your potential client's attention. And so what I want to invite you at that point to be ready with, I'm glad that you guys feel like that question could be useful for you. I'm excited for you to go out and try it. What you want to be ready with is your program. And I know some of you may need a little more support with this part, right? You really want to be sure you have your program, you've dialed it in, you know your pricing, you have your description, you feel good about it, you have a way of taking people's credit cards, and you let them know that there is an incentive for getting registered. And so if you are somebody who needs help with this part, you need help with your program, I want to invite you and remind you that we're doing that at our 3-day event. Tickets are what, Megan, $77 or something like that. So we do have a few seats left at the 3-day Rock Online Sales Retreat, where we're going to actually craft your premium offer with you and help you become the woman that can hold that identity of making a premium offer. So I do hope that you'll grab a seat at that 3-day event. We could probably pop that link into the chat if you guys want to come, but we can pop up that last slide really quick if you guys want that. Pop up that last slide. You guys, is this the one you guys wanted? And then we can go one slide back. So we'll just go to the last slide. Thank you, Izzy. Okay, great. Yeah, and for those of you that are really wanting help with your program, Megan, what should they do actually? Should they, where should they reach out to? I don't even know. I'm putting on the spot.
So if you're wanting help with your program directly, you can go ahead and DM me in the chat. And that's a great way to get started, and we can get connected.
And this is only for those of you guys that are serious about mentorship, because you guys, there's a lot of you here and Megan has limited time. But the Rock Sales event is also like a really good option for you guys. And we just put a link to that in the chat. And again, for $77, we can help you build out your premium offer. But here's what I get excited about. I get excited about you all really starting to tap into this kind of polarity between who your clients are, what they're craving, and what's in the way. Okay, because that's the gap that you get to fill. That's that place where Dr. Claire Zammit is pointing us, where now we don't have to do any convincing. If your clients are in touch with the expensive problem that they have, then you get to open a container, a space of holding the vision and reminding people where they can be and who they can become and the success that they can create. You get to let your people choose in. They get to choose in. And that's the most empowering form of selling that there is. Pop some hearts on the screen if you can feel it. It's not icky. It's not out of alignment. It's you being clear on the change maker you're here to be. And this process works for coaches, it works for healers, it works for practitioners. So you don't need to be a coach to keep working with us in this way. But I want to also just start pointing you toward the next step in the process of the Women Who Rock Business Summit. And that is that we're going to be inviting you today to post another action step. And that action step is going to be to get clear on what your clients' biggest goals and dreams are, and then what's in the way. Because the more we can get in touch with that, the more we can keep moving you toward, again, creating a talk that actually enrolls your clients and really becoming the change maker, the successful change maker that you're here to be. And my dog just came crashing in and then crashing right back out. So apparently you got a little dog love, little canine love. So we'll pop up that next slide, Izzy, because what I'd love for you guys to do is to really get in touch with what you have come to understand and what your brainstorm is about what do you think your clients, potential clients' biggest goals and dreams are? And then what do you think their biggest reality and challenges that they're facing are? And then, of course, bonus points as you also consider, right, a mini plan that you can lay out for your potential clients, the offer that you're going to make. And what we're going to be inviting you to do is to not just get clear on that in your workbook, but to start using our CTA to move you toward even more clarity on these more intimate aspects of your client's life journey. Because we always say connection is currency. And it's not just that that form of connection is being used to bring in money. It's that creating that intimate awareness of the journey that your clients are on is really what creates that sacred bond. So we'll pop up that slide one more time. You guys can grab a screenshot if you want. And this is really going to move you toward today's CTA. And one of the other aspects of this that I really want to point to is that when your potential clients feel the stand that you are making on their behalf, here at Women Rocking Business, and Izzy, let's just stay on camera for this part. Here at Women Rocking Business, we're a stand for women learning how to speak and sell in a way that never has to have them feel like anything other than themselves. We're a stand for you doing this in a way that just feels really, really good in your heart. We're a stand for you doing this and never having to prove yourself, right? Just getting to really be exactly where you are and to know and trust that from that place, you can build even more trust and respect with your potential clients. We're also a stand for closing the gender pay gap. Raise your hand if you would love to see a world where women are making $1 or more for every man's dollar and not just 79 cents on the dollar. Some of our most successful clients have really embraced this idea of becoming a bold stand. And Susan Pierce Thompson is a great example of that. She'll be speaking on the summit, I think on Thursday. She's amazing. She has a science-based system for losing weight. We can pop up her slide real quick. I wanted you guys to see how we were able to work with Susan to take her message and her branding even one notch deeper. Yes, she helps people lose weight, but she's also putting an end to obesity and food addiction on the planet. Pop some hearts on the screen if you can feel how the more clear you get on the stand that you're taking for your clients, the smoother your enrollment opportunities are going to be. I feel so on fire for the transformations that y'all are bringing to the world. And as you get clear on the reality that your clients are struggling with and that vision, that place where they would so much rather be themselves, I'm super excited to see how this continues to support your business. Bam. And so pop one quick note in the chat. Is this making sense? Can you use this to go make money? Do you have any questions? What's your biggest takeaway just from the last hour and a half? And what I want to hear next is a quick, Megan, will you remind us what CTA number 1 was real quick? And then I know we have a winner to our first CTA, and then we get to invite you guys to play in one more contest. And we're going to bring Annie up for a few minutes.
Go unmute. So I don't know, Izzy, if you can pull up the CTA number 1 here so we can just look at that again. Perfect. So we were inviting you to go live with your speaker message and just do that imperfect little short video, just 1 minute or less, and speak about the expensive problem that you serve, and then also give 3 sisters real feedback on their videos. I do want to mention one quick thing is if you want feedback, because the coaches are all in there, our team of coaches are all in there actually giving feedback on the videos as well and sharing. And what we notice is some videos were set to only show to your followers. And I know that Facebook allows those kind of restrictions so that you don't, so that you don't have your videos able to be commented on by people you don't know. But actually, anyone here, you're entering a new era where you really want people you don't know to be able to comment on your videos. So if you're in the Facebook group, go to the 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner, and that's where it'll ask you, allow commenting or block commenting. You want to allow commenting, and especially getting to just practice within the Facebook group because it's a closed container still, and everyone is here to uplift each other. We have those agreements in place. That's a good place to get started. And then I would invite you to look at your permissions to your account and in general, right? Because you want people to be able to comment and message and engage with you who aren't in your current friend network.
So if you notice you did not get any comments and you go to those 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner, that's where you're going to be able to turn on and off commenting, okay, once your video's up. So we cannot do that for you. If you did not get comments, please go back in, search by your name, and allow us to give you some feedback because that's part of the fun. And I just want to thank you all for playing full out. Raise your hand if you got some feedback on your video and it just felt really helpful to be seen in that way. And raise your hand if you'd be willing to keep loving each other up in the Facebook group. You can keep commenting on the videos. It's not too late to make a video. I'll be really honest with you guys. This was not easy. Okay. I was literally looking at your videos over eggs and sauerkraut this morning. I always eat sauerkraut with my eggs. I know it's just something weird about me, but I couldn't even stop watching. My team was texting me like, Sage, it's time to get on the production huddle. I'm like, I'm watching videos. They're so good. So we didn't know how to choose a winner because so many of you put amazing videos in the group. And so I just want to say to all of you guys, if you made a video for yourself, please give yourself your own pat on the back, little hug, little virtual high five here. And again, there's still time to make a video. And this is for you, right? Even though we're going to actually be shouting a couple of you out, I also wanted to really also name that the biggest prize is just the fact that you get to have the practice and the script and the feedback, right? So you're all winners. I just want to give a couple of shout outs. The first one is to Debbie, who is so adorable with her magic wand. We'll pop her just a screenshot of her video up, helping single Cinderellas to manifest love. Did you guys see Debbie? I love that light up wand. I need a light up magic wand. That was so cool. Did you guys see Carly's video? So clear and to the point. Just another shout out. Carly supports women with lipedema, have a better relationship with food, lower their inflammation. Such important work. I'm so inspired by you guys. My heart's just absolutely so open and exploding. And the winner, drum roll please, of CTA number 1 for today. This is again just the daily winner, not the big prize winner. Daily winner was the one and only Jenny Sosno, who might have popped up in your feed. Jenny helps people find pet-friendly real estate. And this was her first time going live. Megan, let's show her video and then you can say a little bit more about her awesome video. We can probably show like the first 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think Izzy has got that piece. And I'll just say while Izzy's pulling that up that, oh my gosh, Jenny actually messaged me in chat and was just checking in like, am I here in the right place and for the right reasons? Yes, you are. So I'm outing you on that because Jenny, your video was a great example of having a really strong micro niche. You've got a really strong specific message. Not only that, but then you're bringing your dog into the video who is so cute. And this is a great way to grab attention, right? When we're thinking about how are we stopping the scroll? How are we going to get people's attention to stop? Immediately stopped. We had numerous team members commenting on how standout. There we go. See how standout it is to have your little doggo in there, especially when it's on brand for your niche and you're solving a really expensive problem for your clients, helping them find pet-friendly real estate. And your first live video ever, Jenny, you go.
You're a badass. Let's watch for a few seconds.
Hello everyone, we are Jenny and Lonnie Sosnow. We are pet-friendly real estate advocates in Southeast Florida. We help pets and their humans find their way home so that no owners have to choose between a home they love and their best friends.
I love it. And Hanu loves it too. And there might have been a treat involved with him coming on demand. He says, hi, everybody. So Jenny, Hanu's a big fan. And I just want to say, you guys, it was so fun to watch your videos. Keep them coming. You guys can see the value of them being creative. And Jenny, if I had any feedback for you at all, I would also just say that as you go to get even more pro with your videos, I would just love to see a little bit more light on your face. I'd love to see a picture of like a dream home in the background. I could see a world where you start taking pictures of homeowners and their pets in front of their homes as one of your hottest marketing tools. I'm super excited for the future of your business, and we'd love to help you build this out even more. Jenny, congratulations. Give her a few more hearts on the screen. And that brings us to the second CTA for today. And that is that we're going to invite you to head back into the Facebook group and post your client's biggest G and R. So you're going to just post a little bit about what your clients are desiring and dreaming and what your clients' reality and problems are. And you can do this in the Summit Facebook group, and we can show you how to use the color blocks real quick. And then pop a yes in the chat if you're willing to also keep giving your fellow students feedback on their posts. Anything to add, Megan?
I think that's great. Just keep giving the feedback and, sharing even before you feel like you've got everything figured out, right? Just get in there and sharing something. And I know I've got a little backlog here in chat, so I am responding to anyone who messaged me here as we go.
All right. I know that was dangerous to tell people to message you. Okay. So CTA 2, I could do this in a color block. Can you guys see this right now so that you can see what how the color block looks?
Yeah.
So our clients' goals might be our goal and dream is to build a freedom business, making impact and income. And the R might be, where are the clients? How do I find my clients online? And how do I actually also design a high ticket offering, a premium offering? And it can be as simple as that. Okay. And if you want to actually go into a little bit more detail, one of the things that you can do is you can wait for your post to go up. You can find it again, and you could just add a little bit more, right? I specifically work with women practitioners, coaches, healers, right? And you can just add a little bit more in the comment section underneath the sticker. Some of you guys were asking, can I get creative with this and post with a picture or something or an image? Yes, you absolutely can. Now, just a reminder, if you include a link or get super promotional with your posts, they will be removed. One of the reasons why the Facebook group feels so good is because this is a moment to help each other. It doesn't mean you can't reach out to each other behind the scenes if you're interested in what each other does, but we don't want to make the mistake of this group turning into like a big promotion promotion fest. We want this to be a safe place for you to try on your promotion materials, brainstorm about your client's biggest vision and goal and your client's biggest reality. So please, no links, but please let us understand what you're coming to know about your clients. And then just a quick reminder that yesterday we gave you a CTA to do a 1-minute live video sharing your message. And we'll pop back up that slide so that we can go through all 5 CTAs. It's not too late to make your live video. You're not behind. We'll be announcing the winner on Thursday. Today, your CTA is to post your clients' goals and reality, and then to love up 3 sisters. And pop a yes in the chat if you're planning on playing in all 5 CTAs and planning on being our winner of the $10,000 visibility prize. And just a quick reminder to be sure that when you play in all the CTAs, we will also be pulling a couple of you up each day to feature you and at least one of you to give a couple ideas from stage. You'll enter to win that $10,000 training, and that includes an hour-long one-on-one session to help you rock your offer with Deborah Artura, and access to our sales superpower and speaker superpower and profitable speaker video trainings, which are super, super valuable and helpful. And I think you're going to love those. So we're really excited to gift you those. And I'm just really excited to see your posts in the Facebook group. And I want to remind you that my team is actually going through and putting all of your CTAs in a spreadsheet, and they're making a note when you guys are loving each other up. So pop some hearts on the screen if you're willing to bring the love, play in this divine feminine marketing incubator. This is a divine feminine community of magnitude. And part of the fun is getting some of that feedback. And in order to get feedback, we're asking you to give feedback. And we are for sure going to be giving that winner. We're going to be choosing a winner who's been really generous with their feedback. And so thank you in advance for giving each other feedback. And I'm also really excited to welcome those of you who are going to be coming to tomorrow's after party. Did you guys like yesterday's after party? We had a blast. We went really deep in what it means to focus on the how, the what it is that you do. Don't over focus on your modalities. Really bring that speaker message. So it's not too late to grab your seat in our VIP inner circle, and we can pop up that slide. We'll pop the link in the chat. So definitely grab a VIP if you want lifetime access to all the interviews. You guys can see that these interviews, Claire's interview, Lisa Nichols' interview, these are so valuable. I know many of you are wanting to go back and be able to have access to those. So VIP gives you access to all the interviews. It gives you access to a couple of my favorite blueprints to help you get 25 marketable mission statements. And you'll get a chance to join us for 2 more after parties, plus that Saturday training on how to turn your stage and your speaking into clients. And once you do grab your VIP ticket, you'll also be taken to a page to grab the ticket to our 3-day Rock Sales event. And I want to just really remind you, this is the event where we are helping you craft your premium offer. Tickets are $77. Feels like a no-brainer to me. The discount's going to end on Thursday. We have 125 of you who already took us up on tickets. So I am so excited to get to know those 125 of you. And my team is actually working with the venue to get us in a bigger room in Santa Cruz because so many of you want to come. When you grab your 3-day event ticket this week, you're also going to get access to a couple of summit-only bonuses. You'll get access to my 6-figure soulmate magnet training, which is really supported so many of our clients to have extraordinary results, learning how to speak directly to the soul of their client. And you'll be able to get really clear on the difference between upstream and downstream marketing. And so that training is going to be free for you when you grab your 3-day event ticket. And you're also going to have a chance to get access to 3 of my most popular trainings. We're bringing Lisa Nichols back for a training on motivating the masses. Derek Rydell has a training on thought leadership, and Reverend Deborah Johnson, an incredible training on building a spiritual business. So again, those bonuses are for our summit guests who grab a 3-day event ticket. And I am already getting so excited for that event. We're in an awesome venue in Santa Cruz. It's a block and a half from the beach. And I'm excited to stand in that beach circle with those of you who come in person. And for those of you that come on Zoom, we're literally going to put you on an iPhone and bring you down to the beach with us so that you can experience the beach circle virtually. But more importantly, we're going to be spending 3 days helping you build your premium offer and up-level your identity to be the woman who can confidently make that offer to your potential clients. So grab your seat. And I want to take a moment and introduce our final speaker for today, the one and only Annie Lala, who's again, one of my dear, dear, dear friends, and who's spent a lifetime studying love and integrity-based sales. She's a visionary thinker. She's a speaker. She's a philosopher. She's known as the cartographer of love. She helps her clients turn toward romance, but to continue to develop the emotional intelligence to sustain romance. She has degrees in biology and Buddhism and certifications in NLP and emotion-based coaching and hypnosis. She has an incredible transformative framework that integrates evolutionary psychology, spiral dynamics, family systems, therapeutic sexuality. And she's known for being able to help people rewire relationship patterns. And raise your hand if you would agree with me that sales is relationships. And if you're a human or a woman who knows deep down that there's still some work that maybe you have to do around commitment. I'm sure none of us here need to do any work around making a deep commitment to our future business and our future clients. We're going to be doing some of that work at the 3-day Rock Online Sales Retreat. Notice how I am an unabashedly clear saleswoman who knows the value of my 3-day event. Pop a yes in the chat if you want to be that on fire and enthusiastic about your offerings that you can easily show people the value with your heart open and a true passion about what it is that you're doing. And Annie is that way. Annie is so fired up to bring love into the sales conversation. So we're going to bring her up. And I interviewed her last week specifically for you. You're going to love this interview. Annie, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here with you. So for those of you that don't know Annie, she's known as the cartographer of love. She's helped so many incredible epic women find love, including Mama Gina, Jessica Zwig, Layla Martin, Emily Fletcher, and Sage Levine. And you've equipped us, and I'm going to cry if I say too much, Annie, because you have equipped the strongest of women. We've been able to create so much in our lives, and we still need help creating love. And then you also believe, like I do, that sales is a form of love. And so I'm so excited to dive in. Thank you so much for being here.
Yay, let's go. Let's go as far as we can, as deep as we can.
This is going to be one of my favorite interviews. So you're amazing. Thank you for everything that you've done. I have love in my life because of some of the absolute truth-telling, hashtag truth-telling you've done with me. And so in your experience, how does a woman's relationship with herself and how she builds and attracts love directly affect her ability to lead and have all the things she wants?
Well, my tagline is I'm a cartographer of love, which is a map maker. And a map maker creates, ways to navigate new territory. And what I love about relational love, the phrase I love you starts with I. And I think a lot of women forget this. I love you starts with I. And so the key to being powerful in your love life or in your business is having a very powerful, strong, integrated I. And that's what I do with my clients is shore up their selfhood, their sense of needs and wants and desires and fears and frustrations. All of those are important to get clear on for yourself. So you know what you want to do in the world and to understand your customers, your clients. So in order to cultivate a really strong I think it's important to develop your self-esteem. And self-esteem is a very broad idea. I love Nathaniel Branden, who wrote the book on self-esteem, 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. He defines self-esteem as having 2 facets. The first facet is believing that you deserve to be happy, that your needs and your wants and your desires have dignity, have intelligence, have utility, and they are right. There's something right about them, especially if they're congruent. Second part of self-esteem is believing that you can cope with what life brings your way. you can actually handle and thrive in the experience of being alive, which actually is about resilience. So self-esteem is about worthiness and deserving, and then resilience and coping. So what I do is I help individuals cultivate their ability to feel a strong sense of I and dignity and deserving, and then also deserving of money and earning, and also cultivate their ability to cope with a wider and wider range of sensations inside their body. Because that's what holds us back, whether it's love or making more money. We have a feeling that comes up, scaredy, nervous, even if it's for positive things. I'm getting a client, or someone's going to pay me more, or this guy's going to text me. Our nervous system either expands or contracts. And reality, the universe, God senses it and goes, oh, okay, we only want to expand you. So if it contracts you, we're going to keep it over here. And so I think, you're talking about how to attract love into your life and how to speak confidently and lead powerfully. We need to cultivate self-esteem. And not only does that govern the quality of clients you attract and opportunities, it governs the quality of mate. If you want to see someone's self-esteem, just look at who they're dating, look at who they're married to, you will see. Now, self-esteem is domain specific. So I might have high self-esteem in helping people come back from the edge of a divorce, which I do, but I can't cook a meal to save my life. I don't know how to fix a computer. So it's domain specific. So if you want to know someone's self-esteem around relational dynamics, you look at who they're dating. It's not their self-esteem around running a business or fixing a computer. So I just want people to get that. If you want the highest caliber mate, you need to cultivate the highest level of self-esteem we can muster. And so that's what both of you and I are up to in our work and our coaching.
This is so
the quality
powerful.
of your mate goes up with your self-esteem.
This is so powerful because I dated a series of men that just weren't the right match for me. And you could see it in the energetics of us. And we've been talking about intimacy today. We've been talking about sales and intimacy and how our own relationship with ourselves and our relationship with intimacy actually blocks us from enrolling all the clients that we want. And so I want to drill into this for a moment because this piece around deep deserving to have it all, like how many of us actually saw our moms or our grandmothers having it all, like having a career they loved and like romantic love that totally lit them up. Like that's still kind of like not that normal to have all of that together. And so what would you recommend that we do to keep breaking through and moving beyond that so that we can be in that place of deserving?
Yeah. So first of all, I think you need to cultivate your internal reference. Like what I mean when I say your sense of I, it's your selfhood. So I think of the self as like a Christmas tree. And, if you don't have the Christmas tree up, there's no place to put the ornaments on. And the ornaments are your needs, wants, desires, dreams. If there's no self, there's no place to hang those things. So the first thing you want to do is really cultivate your inner sense of authority. And your inner sense of authority allows you to express innovations that are different than the status quo in your life and in the world, which is what we're here to do, right? As women, we're visionary leaders. We can see the future in a way most people can't. I mean, literally, women create the future in their body, in their womb, which is why I think they have clairvoyance and the ability to see into the future. I think intuition is your future successful self whispering to you what to do next. So attuning to your intuition and then being able to speak that into the world is literally dragging reality forward. That's the job of a woman, is to vision a possibility that's not currently the state of affairs, and then to guide reality in that direction. So, and that's what leadership is, right? Visionary leadership. And so you learning to cultivate a sense of self, there's many ways to do that.
I love this because I think that there is, well, you answered my question and then some. There's so many ways we could go, but I think that one of the big places that we bump up against ourselves is that we sometimes think that if we go after exactly what we want, we're going to lose love. Like, I think those two things can really bump up against each other. And so I want to just really keep inviting every single one of you that's listening into that place that Annie's coming from of like, when you actually get congruent with your selfhood, you're actually going to be loved for the person that you actually are. And then you get to be more magnetic. You get to be more of yourself. That's going to directly impact your leadership. I love Eben. I love your husband. I love that he can go in front of 10, I'm sure, whoozy people and go, well, I don't actually want to go to dinner there. I want to go to dinner over here. And he would be the one that would actually start swaying people like, oh yeah, we should go eat more healthy. And what I love about this conversation is that when we do this work, we turn toward ourselves, we're going to be creating the exact magnetism, and I would use the word fortification, that our clients and our future clients are going to recognize in us. And so when you say that sales is an act of love, and then I want to talk about sexuality in a moment, but when you say Sales is an act of love. Say more about what you mean by that.
Only in the last year have I really cultivated my own selling skills. And as I started to learn about it and practice, I realized, oh my God, this isn't some weird, hard thing to do. It's just listening deeply to another person to see what they need, like from your heart, just like a human being going, hey, human, what do you need? Listening really carefully and then looking for what you have to offer and how it can help them. And if there's a match, you support the hell out of them and you give them an opportunity to transcend whatever's holding them back. And if it's not, you offer as much value as you can in the call and you refer them to somewhere where they can get that support. And, if you see, obviously I've been studying love for a while, right? And I said selfing is an important part of love. If you don't tune into what you need and want, how can you help another person? Every person asking you to coach them or support them in any way is basically asking you, can you help me self more in this area that I can't? So if you don't know how to do it, how can they see the opportunity to transcend their own isms and, their problems? So also, I want to say one thing to women who are like, I don't want to be selfish. Okay. I don't want you to be selfish either. I want you to be selfie. Okay. Every single neuron in your body is going around going, I need nutrient, I need glucose, I need nitrogen. And it just takes what it needs from the blood supply. Like every squirrel, mushroom, tree in the forest, they all just take what they need from nature and leave what they don't. They have no problem selfing. They have no apology from when they take minerals from the roots. Why should we, as a piece of nature, ever apologize for a need, want, and desire? Okay?
Especially with AI here. I mean, with AI here, it's going to be even more important that we are alive. We're like cultivating our aliveness. And even as I hear you talking, I'm feeling my aliveness bubbling up. I'm sure any woman listening is feeling that too. And we can feel how this is magnetic. And any woman who's been playing small is hopefully getting the idea that you get to actually be your full self. That's what's going to attract your clients in. Did I interrupt you?
Yes.
Keep going.
No, totally. And I want to just say that selling and influence depend on trust. Okay. Being able to cultivate very quickly trust with another human being. And by the way, you can't fake it. You can't fake trust. And the more savvy the client, the less you're going to bamboozle them. So what I love about the word trust is that it has us in the middle. When you have an interaction with a human being, sales or otherwise, and you make central and primary the relational dynamic, the us, they will trust you. The minute you make your agenda or the thing you want or the thing you're afraid of more important than this relational dynamic, they will just feel something's off and they won't trust you. And so learning to us is really important in the sales process, but you can't us if you don't I, okay? Because an us is two I's. And so I really think success in romance, but also in business is equal cultivation of selfing, me, I, individuation, sovereignty, autonomy, and othering. Tuning into somebody else, attuning to their needs and wants, getting into their reality. So selfing and othering, I-hood and wehood, me and we, is what it takes to integrate, to create true love, but also a successful business. Because you can be all successful on your own, but you won't have clients or colleagues or employees that stay with you if you don't know how to do relationship.
And I watched you build your business, and it's similar how I built my business, and you and I have been watching each other, and we started where we were. We didn't try to convince somebody of something that we weren't ready for. And I think there's an integrity and an alignment that you're speaking to where it's like, start where you are and build your confidence, right? By actually creating change in people's lives. Like, you're not selling air, you're selling a transformation. And with every transformation I've watched you create, your business has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and stronger. And same with me, right? Like, I didn't start taking women to seven figures. We started with a small handful of women, and I proved concept. And now we've been able to expand beyond that. And so I want to really encourage every single one of you listening, like, this is about you being in right relationship with yourself, loving yourself exactly where you are, speaking to what Annie's pointing to, like your Shiro's journey. You've actually mastered something inside of yourself that can save your clients so much time.
And you're the right coach for everybody too.
Exactly. And you're
I've had clients tell me, you're too cerebral, you're too lyrical. And I'm like, I'm just me. So they pass on. And then there's some people that love the way I talk and the way I speak. Right. And I realized I'm not the right coach for everybody. Right. And I need another coach who's different than me to go help those people. Yeah. So I've let go of, I have to be the right person for everybody. Right. And I really want the women listening to get that when you are your most self, There's a portal in the universe that opens that's the shape of you. And God, the universe, reality funnels through that. But if you're not aligned with who you actually are, your values, you're not speaking from your most authentic self, it's almost like it's blocked. The channel gets blocked. And so the more you are, the more you smell like God. Really.
That is a mic dropper right there. The more you're who you are, the more you smell like God or the goddess.
Yeah,
And like,
got it.
look what's happening on Instagram. I mean, influencers that are taking off are being so bold and they're not afraid to polarize. They're not afraid to claim the clients, the people who are theirs to claim. And again, if someone's not your cup of tea, then go somewhere else. It's almost better to be more polarized. And interestingly enough, polarity creates sexual connection too. And you speak openly about love and sexuality as sources of vitality. And I think that that's one of the places we could really play for a couple more minutes too, is like, in some ways, I think there is that chemical connection between a mentor and a potential client. Like, it's a very sacred thing for two people to decide to work together and to be in that conversation. Can you say more about how sexuality plays into it?
I mean, I don't know about the mentor student, but in general, sexual energy is the most powerful and magical force in the universe. It literally creates life from scratch.
Right.
Creativity is sexual energy pointed at, in some medium. And literally, you and I exist because two people who hopefully loved each other had sex, and every cell in our body has two pieces of DNA that are all curled up. And so I want people to get that sexual energy isn't some weird bad thing that the church says you shouldn't have. Sexual energy is what's funding every time you make up a new sentence, every time you are creative with a metaphor, every time you go out of your way to do something innovative. Sexual energy is creative energy. And so I want sexual energy. If we could rebrand it creativity, I think we'd have a much better relationship with it. And in terms of a mentor and a student and you working with your clients, because my creativity is my sexuality, and what is sexual creative energy? It's aliveness. What are people trying to buy with everything? I want more access to aliveness. And so the more yourself you are, the more alive you'll be, and the more someone will want to come to you to get access to their own brand of aliveness. They're not trying to buy your aliveness. They're buying access to their own. People don't buy a transformation from us. They buy a taste of their future successful self. And that's who I work for. I literally work for the future successful self of the client, and I'm answering to them, but I'm talking to the current version to try and get them to connect.
I love that. I've never heard anybody say it that way. Annie, thank you so much for taking the time. Is there any last piece of advice that you would want to leave these powerful women entrepreneurs with?
Just really take seriously cultivating your inner authority. Listen to your intuition, attune to your nervous system as if your life depends on it. Because what's happening inside your body at any moment is literally the most important thing happening in the universe. Not many women know this. They think, oh, well, what other people say is more important. No. If anybody tells you something that is at odds with what you're feeling in your body, don't trust them over your body. Your body never lies. And so cultivate your intuition. Ask questions to your womb or your uterus or your yoni. Ask questions there, and then the body either expands or contracts. Intuition is digital, not analog. And so really start split testing anything you're going to do through your womb. Does your womb open or close? And just follow that, and you'll notice your life will just expand. And this is to do with business or love. Okay, business or love. And keep your heart open. You can't fall in love or succeed in business with a closed heart. And in some ways, I think learning to open your heart when it most wants to close is the mark of an extraordinary woman, an extraordinary lover.
You're amazing. Mic drop. Thank you so much. Thank you for standing for women. Beautiful. Thank you so much for the presence that you showed Annie. I was taking a little video clip. I'm going to send it to her. She was just holding space for this summit, like the badass she is. I know many of you have gotten a chance to study with her and her husband, Eben. Eben also has a bonus interview on the summit. And just thank you. Was it a good day too? You guys walking away with something you can use? Yeah? Good day too? It's really been an honor to be here with every single one of you. And so I'm going to actually, if we can keep the chat quiet for just a moment, I just want to give you guys access to the speaker gifts. And I know a couple of you guys are wanting to jump into the 3-day event and you're having a hard time knowing where to go. And yeah, thank you for all the love that you gave Annie. So many quotables in there. So if you open up the all access page, what a good day. What an awesome day too we've had. I'm kind of loving this summit. Thank you all for being here. So when you guys head over to the Women Who Rock Business Summit access page, you've got access to everything in here, the Facebook group, how to join us on live each day. You can grab your VIP ticket here if you want to join the after party tomorrow and the bonus training about enrolling clients on Saturday. And then here is the summit free gifts. And Annie's is fantastic. Every single one of these is fantastic. These are going to be posted through the end of the week. So be sure you actually go get your downloads because this will close out at the end of the week. And I know many of you are on fire about these. So we're excited to get you all of these. I wanted to also really make sure that you guys know what's happening here in April. Some of you guys are asking for the dates. And so the dates are April 14th through the 16th. And, you know, Claire and Annie were really both pointing us toward your opportunity to cultivate your inner authority. And that's really a lot of what we're going to be doing at the 3-day Rock Your Online Sales retreat, because we're really doing a deep dive into the youing that needs to happen to kind of give birth to this offering. We're going to be crafting your premium offer together. And what I love about the 3-day is we're going to get a chance to put you guys in breakout rooms. So this is not going to be 3 days of content. You know, we're live 2.5 hours a day. We don't have enough time to get you guys in breakout rooms. Also, there's hundreds of you here. The 3-day event is going to be capped at 100 and so people in the room and a few hundred people on Zoom. And we're going to be taking the time each day to get you in small rooms so you'll actually be interacting. This is not just a teaching event. You're going to learn a ton, but my mission in this 3-day event is to get you also practicing delivering your offer, getting live feedback from each other, getting to know each other, actually getting a chance to make friends with each other. It's one of the reasons why I love this event so much. So grab a ticket while they're still $77 if you feel called to come. We would love to have you. My team and I don't take it lightly. And Megan, what an awesome day too. One of the most exciting things that I'm fired up about for tomorrow is that tomorrow is about helping you get in touch with your speaker archetype. And a lot of women that want to speak and sell and get visible have blind spots, including myself, to what our actual superpower is. And then those places where we might not be as comfortable. And so tomorrow's all about strengthening those places where you might not be as comfortable, talking about what you do and getting visible. And I'm so excited to get you the speaker archetypes. We're going to be bringing up Vivian Glick, who has the Girl Power Project. Pop a yes in the chat if you'd love to learn a little bit more about philanthropic business and the girls that we support, and to get to be a part of that for a few minutes. So I hope you'll be there live tomorrow. Megan, what an incredible day.
So happy to be here, Sage, and just loving how inspired I feel from everything you've shared, everything the speakers have shared, and everyone I'm interacting with here in the chat. And those of you who are asking if the 3-day event is live or if it's recorded, like, this is fully live. It's fully live experience. It's a place for you to really engage with the materials. So whether you can show up virtually from your home for the portions that you're able to attend, or you're able to come and be there in person, we would love to have you.
Yeah, we'll be in Santa Cruz, California, which is 20 minutes from the San Jose airport, maybe half an hour from the San Jose airport. It's about an hour, give and take, hour and 15 minutes from the San Francisco airport. So you have 2 international airports in California that you can fly into. And the hotel rooms are really affordable. We negotiated like a really awesome low rate for the hotel rooms here in Santa Cruz. And again, they're right next to you're going to be right next to the ocean. And if you guys want, Steph, what I'd love to do is, by the end of the day, I think what we could do is we could actually figure out a way where you guys could network with each other. And we'll make that announcement tomorrow, because some of you have been asking. Raise your hand if you'd want to come and you'd kind of want to have a roommate. Just save the money that way, right? It's a lot more affordable. So I'll find out from my team how to best do that, but we'll make sure you guys have a place to sync up and find roommates or ride shares by the end of the day tomorrow. So we'll definitely get you guys that. I'm going to click in the upper right hand corner, and I'm going to head over to gallery mode, and we're going to dance it out. We're going to say goodbye to the live streamers. I invite you to turn your camera on. If you want to say goodbye, it would be so sweet to get to have a moment to look in your eyes. And I just invite you to take in the wall of beauty that has become the Women Who Rock Business Summit. I see you, Crystal. I see you, Kathleen. I see you, Sarah Johnson and Diane Chapp, and Karen Colors here, and Sharon Hoot, and Shari, and Charmaine, and Maria, and Jamie, and Jessica. I just invite you to send a sparkle into the screen if you've just appreciated the container that we've created today. And I want to welcome the men and the humans that have come here to support us as women, Michael and Graham, and I might not be saying your name right, but everybody's welcome here. Thank you for choosing us. Thank you for being the very best part of Women Rocking Business. Thank you for opening up your heart to serving clients in this moment here on planet Earth, where I believe the world needs women's gifts more than ever. I think we can all agree with that.